Welcome, everyone, to another episode of AIME's Grow and Get It. I'm Tom Allis, President of Growth with AIME. Today, I get to sit with my good pal, I should say stand with my good pal, a good guy, mortgage broker, master of mortgages, also known as the Woolly Bear in some scenes around the town, impeccable karaoke skills, dancing skills, and service member to vetted VA as well, helping veterans. You can tell he's representing with his hat today. Brandon, thank you for coming and sharing some of your experience with our AIME team here today.
Well, thanks for having me. And just as a side note, I do own the .com master mortgages. So, I mean, like, it's kind of hard to refute that when I own the .com. Just I got to get that on the record.
The master of mortgages. I love it.
Right.
You know, one of the things that we were going to talk about today, to really, I love our Grow and Get It episodes, is truthfully, for most originators, we're always busy. We're always doing things to where just a quick 10-minute section of talking about something that they can do to help grow and get it, right? Our topic today, though, tad bit different, right? We want to talk a little bit about finding work-life balance, right? And that's something that I believe you've had some good experience with. So why don't you share with us what steps have worked best for you in finding a work-life balance?
Well, just to preface a little bit, I actually have a PowerPoint. I used to teach work-life balance, to professionals, but then that was when I had one kid, and little did I know, now we have 7, right? And, 3 of those are nephews. One of those is a niece, and 2 of them have reactive attachment disorder. We're in this crazy mortgage business that, riding the bipolar waves. I've been doing that for 17 years total. And, I'm glad I worked on things before I had all the kids, all the craziness, because I think right now in our current state of life, right? Not just business, but life. Like I feel like we need that. I think we struggle, especially in this industry, when we are, when we're highly driven people, to sell or, create relationships, whatever it is, right? It's hard to balance everything. And, so a lot of the things that just to simplify what I think is important is it's healthy, to a certain extent, to focus on the business. But a lot of us struggle in life because, we may be only a 1 or 2 tier type of person. And that's common. And there's nothing to be shamed about, if that's where we are. But really, in my opinion, there's 4 tiers, 4 pillars to solidify us to have the best balance. There's no such thing as a perfect balance, for one. And another thing is, something we all have in common is we're all going to leave this world imperfect. So there's always some room to improve in business or the other 3 tiers, which is, spirituality, relationships, and personal health. And so I think a lot of times we let these things go, right? And like, I'm 45 years old. This is prostate time, man. So like, it's time for me to get my prostate checked out. Have I scheduled it? No. It's on the agenda. But just things like that. We have an extremely high stressful, career that we're all, engulfed in. And so that can create health issues. Yep. So like, it's very important to both like monitor health. It's also important to monitor your relationship, starting with your marriage. The great part about social media is I've made a lot of my great friends in the mortgage business, even though I don't get to see everybody or hang out. It's not like my friends here in town are coming over anyway. We got 7 kids, right? So I might as well relate to people that understand what I deal with, right? And so that's why you find all these friends in the mortgage business. But then also, spirituality too. And I'll have to admit, like, that's the part I'm probably struggling the most with. We'd had a child 22 months ago. Ever since then, that's kind of been the dragging tier that I've not focused as much on. And so I'm trying to bring that along while navigating the business too. So, as you can probably tell, I'm not perfect at this, but there is a strategy there. And I think the one thing that we have to do is we have to pay attention. What's the feedback? What's the feedback in our business that we need to work on? Are we with the right company? Do I have the right process? Do we have the right, team that works for us? Am I doing the right activities to create predictability? Same thing in your health. How do you feel? Do you get tired in the afternoon where you need a nap? Are you an irritable jerk? Sometimes like get allergy tested for your food.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Do you need to go for a walk while you talk on the phone? Two birds, one stone, right? Do some work, get out, and walk around. How's your marriage? Are you guys fighting about money? Like, I'm sure there's people out there right now that there's a lot of challenges in our marriages. And I think this is the good time where we can leverage some of that. But also again, spirituality. I know that doesn't fit for everybody. For me, it does. And whatever that looks like for you, spend time there, because I think that creates balance. It creates contentment, where you can be a little bit more clear and have clarity on some of these other things when the feedback comes to you on what you need to focus on.
I think that's huge. I mean, it's something that probably one of the most different grow and get it episodes we've done. This isn't, but the reality is, what you're touching on are the four legs of a chair, right? And I would say if one of those legs are not solid, it's impossible to go out and work on, hey, I'm going to go build this new relationship with an agent. I'm going to be excited for my business when the rest of your life isn't in order of what it is that support your four legs. Maybe you can substitute one of the things out if you don't relate to directly what Brandon's saying. For me, I do, right? Every one of those are things in order for us to be great leaders in our industry, in order for us to be great partners to our real estate agents or leaders within our own, teams at our prospective companies. You got to have the rest of that in order and in line, and spending time with it. When we talk about work-life balance, right? It's understanding it's okay to give your time to those things because it's going to make your work that much better. If you are lacking in an area, now when we're at a time in our industry where we actually have a little bit of time to spend other than nonstop on the phone answering calls, right? Right now, we're the ones making the calls, those that are out there really trying to go out and I'll say grow and get it. No, your phone isn't ringing. You have to be the rainmaker. But it's important to look at this and say, okay, from a work-life balance, that's great. You touched on the four things: business, spirituality, relationships, and personal health, well-being. And I would say, like all of these that I do, I end up taking notes, and people are like, "What's he doing in the middle of this call?" It's important, right? I think it's if you view it as a stool, like I said, if one of those things are not supported correctly for you, it's impossible for you to go out and grow and get it. So, good message, Brandon. I think a lot of people, a good guy, your title, mortgage broker, master of mortgages, you are a good guy, right? I don't think I've ever met one person that said, man, Brandon's self-serving. He's doing something. I really like this episode because it focuses on something a little different than, the normal of open houses or the things. This is very important. I hope that the message is received. So for those in constant flux, right? What do you think the first step should be for them to look at finding this balance or addressing that issue?
I think what we tend to do is problem solvers, right? I think most of us are leaders and problem solvers. One, I think you have to be honest with yourself. Like, be honest, like where your marriage is, where your personal health is, where your business is, and so you got to be honest. Otherwise, if you're faking it, that's not leading. Like, you lead by being authentic, and and not for everybody else, but for you.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like the airplane. I know there's that analogy all the time. Like, you got to put on your mask first, and you've got to be honest with yourself. And when everything feels on fire and you feel like, what, I don't have time, like, and I'm in that place right now. I have to admit, like, I feel like everything's on fire, right? We have situations where the nephews, there's all this outside stuff that we always have to juggle. And I'm fortunate to have a really, really strong, powerful, smart wife that gets it. And, like, I know there's a lot of them out there, right?
Yep.
And some don't, I mean, but you got to be honest with yourself. And when everything feels on fire, actually take a step back, because we always feel like as problem solvers, it's the one thing that can make us all very successful. We're problem solvers, we're doers, we're achievers. At the same time, a lot of times we forget to figure out where our resources are for help. Whether that be through AIME, whether that be through our company, whether that be through a friend, whether it be You know what I mean? Like we just, well, you know what? I'm going to do this myself. Like for me personally, it's like I forget to go to God. I do. For me, that's important, and it may not be for everybody, but like for me, it is, and I forget to do that because I'm like, you know what? This is my problem. This is my situation. I'm going to handle it, right? So it
Yep.
can make you successful, but it could also hold you back a little bit. And so I think you have to take a step back so you can get a little bit of clarity of, okay, like maybe this isn't that important. Sometimes you got to let the client go, cut that realtor relationship, um, and just say, you know what, I can pull back and realign where I am in my business to create more predictability. I can spend 30 minutes a day, walking or running or finding a basketball game to go play in once a week, and adjust
Yep.
my diet to give myself more capacity there to feel better, to be better. Same thing in your marriage. Like, do you need to find a way to do date night once a week? That's not that hard. I mean, it is for us. It's hard to find a babysitter that wants to watch 6 kids. Trust me.
I believe it.
With inflation, it costs $1,000 a minute to send an 18-year-old girl that knows nothing about the type of kids that we have here. But anyway, we still try to find that time, and find humor in things, even though some things are really serious right now. And it may be very serious and people watching this in your home and in your
Yep.
business, but just find humor and find a way to connect both to your kids, to your wife, to others in the industry, within your company, to your community, whatever it is, to find that connection and find strength. Step back, assess what it is, and just build out a plan, right? Like, if we look in the past, it creates depression. It creates regret. And there's nothing in the past unless it's there to learn from, not to dwell on. And if we look too far in the future, then it creates anxiety. And that can cause you to your fight, flight, or freeze. And then you take no action on anything. And so that doesn't mean you can't plan for tomorrow, a week out, month out, the next year. Planning's different, but to worry about what's to come, that can hold you back. So be in the moment, take a step back and assess really like what's going to be important for you to adjust some of your time and energy to.
I love it. I think it's a really good message and well timed for I think a lot of our team members and community members. Right, when our slogan in this last year, really since Fuse of last year, is "We are better together." If you need someone from that standpoint to talk through during these tough times, reach out to some of our team members here. Right, Wooly is to me, he's been a friend. I don't even know. Like, this may sound crazy. I don't even know what company you really work for. I don't care. Right, you're another broker that I've been able to latch arms with. And if you need something, I got your back, right? That's the community that we've created here. Focusing on those four legs, as he put it to me, is it's going to help you, believe it or not. It's going to help you in your career. It's going to help you in your personal relationships. It's going to help you in your confidence, right? Because if you're shook, like you have something in your life that has you shook and you're not addressing it, you're not going to be well. You're not going to do well. You need to make sure that you have those things addressed. So, Wooly Bear, I love you, brother. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing with our community and just being a bright light to all of us. For those tuning in, thank you. Thank you for being here for our AIME, Grow, and Get It series. You can catch some of our past episodes on our YouTube channel at AIME National. Lots of good series in there to be able to check and give some good quick tips or hints. We air every Monday, noon Eastern, in our Brokers Are Better Facebook group. I hope everybody goes into this last quarter. We're getting ready. We're in, middle of October right now, coming into November. We got holidays. Put in the work, though, today, right? We want to start planting those seeds, making sure that we have everything to where they start bearing fruit for you here over the next couple of months. That's your relationships, both personal and interpersonal. So, Brandon, thank you again, brother. Appreciate you. Hope everybody has a great week. Go out and grow and get it.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it, man.